Join me as I dive deep into the chilling mystery of the Villisca Ax House murders and try to uncover what happened back in 1912. The Villisca Ax House, located in Iowa, USA, is a place of dark legend where tragedy and horror came together in a way that still haunts us today. Back in 1912, this ordinary-looking house was the scene of one of the most brutal and mysterious crimes in American history. The central mystery of the Villisca Ax House murders is both simple in its facts and devastating in its implications. Who committed the brutal slaying of 8 innocent people, including 6 children, and how has the case remained unsolved for more than a century? On the morning of June 10, 1912, the sleepy town of Villisca, Iowa, was shaken to its core when the Moore family failed to respond to calls or visits from concerned neighbors. Their absence was unsettling, and when friends finally entered the home, they were met with a scene of unspeakable horror. The bodies of the Moore family, Josiah and Sarah, along with their 4 children, lay savagely mutilated, their skulls crushed by an axe. 2 young girls, overnight guests of the family, had also met the same horrifying fate. The discovery marked the beginning of one of the most infamous and perplexing unsolved murders in American history. What made this crime even more chilling was the complete absence of any clear clues that could point investigators toward a culprit. The brutality of the murders, with victims' faces and heads obliterated beyond recognition, was overwhelming in itself. Yet, despite the savage nature of the attack, the killer appeared to have left virtually no evidence behind. There were no signs of forced entry or exit, leading authorities to speculate whether the killer had been let into the house willingly or had entered under cover of night while the family slept. Even more perplexing was the lack of fingerprints or any physical traces that could link a suspect to the scene. This was long before the advent of modern forensic tools like DNA analysis, and the police were left with an almost impossible task. They had to track down a phantom, a killer who had committed such gruesome acts, yet seemed to have vanished without a trace. The lack of a clear motive also added another layer of complexity to the case. The Moores were a well-liked, respected family, and the 2 visiting girls were entirely innocent bystanders. There were no clear financial or personal grudges that would justify such a horrific crime. In the absence of motive or hard evidence, police were left to chase down theories that ranged from a traveling transient to a personal vendetta, but nothing ever stuck. Over the years, numerous investigations have been launched, and countless theories have been proposed, yet not a single suspect has been definitively linked to the crime. Investigators, true crime enthusiasts, and historians have all attempted to piece together the fragments of the case, but the Villisca murders remain an enduring enigma, a cold case that continues to haunt the small Iowa town and the collective imagination of those obsessed with solving it. Despite the passage of time and advancements in investigative technology, the case remains as cold as ever. Every new investigation runs into the same dead ends as the killer's identity slips further into the fog of history. The Villisca Ax House murders serve as a grim reminder of the limitations of early 20th century policing and the harsh reality that some crimes, no matter how infamous, may never be solved. The story of the Moore family, their tragic deaths, and the unanswered questions left in the wake of their murder ensure that this case continues to captivate and horrify those who dare to explore its dark mysteries. As the years went by, the Villisca Ax Murders case grew colder, slipping further from the reach of resolution, but the public's fascination with it only intensified. Despite the passage of time, people remained fixated on the brutal crime, with theories and suspects continuously surfacing. Each new lead would ignite fresh interest, but ultimately most were dismissed or discredited as the layers of mystery only seemed to thicken. The case transformed into an enduring source of speculation and debate, with many armchair detectives and historians convinced that the true key to solving the mystery lay buried within the intricate relationships, personal vendettas, and rivalries that existed in the tight-knit community of Villisca. Some believed that the answer could be found in hidden secrets from within the town itself, secrets that, for one reason or another, never came to light. The investigation that followed the discovery of the horrific crime scene was one of the most extensive and elaborate of its time, involving countless man-hours and resources. Authorities initially focused on a transient worker who had been seen around town in the days leading up to the murders. Given his unknown background and status as an outsider, suspicions mounted, but after a thorough inquiry, he was cleared of any involvement, and the trail once again grew cold. With no solid leads, the police redirected their efforts toward a former employee of the Moore family, a man who had a history of mental illness and had reportedly made disturbing and threatening statements about the family. His erratic behavior and troubled past seemed to offer a plausible explanation for the gruesome crime. Yet, despite early suspicions, he too was eventually cleared after further investigation failed to yield concrete evidence. With each suspect ruled out, the frustration deepened, and the case remained a chilling mystery that haunted the town, unresolved and open to speculation. One of the most enduring and widely debated theories about the Villisca Ax House murders is the possibility that the killer was a prolific serial murderer known as the Axeman of New Orleans. This theory gained traction over the years due to striking similarities in the modus operandi between the Villisca murders and a string of brutal axe killings that terrorized the city of New Orleans around the same period. Both the Villisca case and the New Orleans murders involved the use of an axe, often the victim's own, as the weapon of choice. In each instance, the killer struck under the cover of darkness, entering homes while families slept, and leaving behind scenes of horrific violence and devastation. The randomness of the attacks, the lack of clear motive, and the gruesome nature of the crimes further fueled speculation that the same individual might be responsible for both sets of murders. Despite the compelling parallels between the cases, law enforcement at the time was unable to formally link the Axeman to the Villisca murders. Investigators struggled with limited forensic technology and the difficulty of tracking a suspect across state lines, especially during a time when communication between jurisdictions was less coordinated than it is today. Additionally, while the crimes shared similarities, there were subtle differences in the details, such as the victims' profiles and the precise execution of the murders, that cast doubt on the idea of a single perpetrator. Still, the theory has remained a subject of fascination for true crime enthusiasts and amateur sleuths, many of whom believe that the Axeman's violent spree may have extended far beyond New Orleans, encompassing the unsolved Villisca massacre. However, without concrete evidence, the true identity of the Villisca killer remains a mystery, and the connection to the Axeman, though intriguing, is speculative at best. Another prominent theory posits that the Villisca Ax House murders were the result of a vengeful act carried out by a rival businessman who had been wronged by the Moore family in some way. This theory stems from the knowledge that Josiah Moore, the head of the family, was a successful and well-connected businessman in the small town of Villisca. He had been involved in several disputes and commercial rivalries in the years leading up to the brutal crime, leading some to speculate that one of these conflicts may have escalated into deadly retaliation. Moore's success in business, especially in the agricultural equipment trade, could have easily bred jealousy or resentment, especially in a town as small and insular as Villisca, where competition for customers was fierce and reputations could be easily damaged. Supporters of this theory often point to the possibility that a business competitor may have harbored a personal grudge against Moore, either over a deal gone wrong or a perceived slight. It's believed that this animosity may have festered, eventually motivating the rival to exact a gruesome form of revenge not only on Josiah, but on his entire family. The brutal nature of the crime, targeting not just the head of the household, but also his wife and children, suggests a deep personal hatred that goes beyond a simple business rivalry, which adds weight to the idea that revenge may have been the motive. Despite the plausibility of this theory, no concrete evidence has ever been uncovered to substantiate it. Investigators at the time were unable to find any direct links between Josiah Moore's business dealings and the murders. The theory, though intriguing, remains speculative, as no rival or disgruntled associate was ever definitively connected to the crime. Over the years, this idea has lingered in the minds of those fascinated by the case. Still, like many other theories surrounding the Villisca murders, it remains just that, a theory without solid proof, a tantalizing possibility forever suspended in the realm of speculation. As we delve deeper into the Villisca Ax House murders, one piece of evidence stands out as particularly compelling. A mysterious handwritten note found at the crime scene that read, "Bloodhound is at the door." This cryptic message has fascinated investigators, scholars, and true crime enthusiasts for decades, sparking endless debate and speculation about its meaning. The note, seemingly out of place amidst the brutality of the crime scene, has been interpreted in countless ways over the years, yet its true significance remains shrouded in mystery. Its presence raises more questions than answers, casting a shadow of intrigue over an already baffling case. Some theorists believe the killer left the note as a taunt to the police, a twisted way of mocking the investigation and highlighting the authorities' inability to catch him. The term bloodhound could be seen as a reference to the traditional use of dogs in tracking down criminals, implying that even the most skilled trackers wouldn't be able to find him. From this perspective, the message could be the killer's way of flaunting his confidence, suggesting that he had already outsmarted law enforcement and would remain elusive despite their best efforts. It paints a chilling picture of a murderer who not only killed with shocking brutality, but also took pleasure in toying with those seeking justice. Others, however, propose that the note might be a red herring, deliberately planted to mislead and confuse investigators. The vague and cryptic nature of the message could have been designed to send the police down the wrong path, diverting their attention from the real clues and obscuring the killer's true identity and motive. In this interpretation, the note is not so much a boast as it is a strategic ploy, meant to sow doubt and uncertainty in an already complex case. The killer, knowing that every piece of evidence would be scrutinized, may have purposely left behind this enigmatic message to throw the investigation into disarray, ensuring his escape from justice. Despite the numerous interpretations, the note's true meaning remains an enigma. Was it the work of a sadistic mind, reveling in the chaos and confusion left in his wake, or simply a meaningless scribble meant to deceive? The bloodhound is at the door note continues to be one of the most puzzling aspects of the Villisca murders. This clue invites endless speculation, but provides no clear answers, leaving investigators and enthusiasts alike grasping for meaning in its cryptic words. The Villisca Ax House murders remain one of the most chilling and enduring true crime mysteries, continuing to captivate and horrify generations to this day. The brutal slaying of the Moore family and their two young guests in 1912 has left an indelible mark on the annals of unsolved crimes, its darkness lingering over both the small town of Villisca and the imaginations of those who seek to understand it. The case's combination of grisly violence, baffling evidence, and the eerie unknown has cemented it as a source of fascination for both seasoned investigators and true crime enthusiasts and historians alike. It serves as a reminder of how fragile and elusive justice can be, especially in an era before modern forensic science. The Villisca murders are a testament to the power of human ingenuity and determination, as both amateur and professional sleuths continue to painstakingly pore over the evidence, combing through old case files, newspaper clippings, and witness testimonies in the hopes of uncovering the missing piece of the puzzle. For over a century, investigators and crime aficionados have revisited the case, each generation armed with new theories and methods, all with the same goal, to find that one elusive clue that will finally break the case wide open. Despite the challenges posed by the passage of time, advancements in forensic technology and investigative techniques provide a glimmer of hope that the answers could still be found. The resilience of those who continue to study the case reflects a deep commitment to uncovering the truth, refusing to let the story fade into history's mysteries. What makes the Villisca case so captivating is its blend of historical intrigue and human tragedy. The murder of an entire family in the supposed safety of their home with no clear motive or perpetrator evokes both horror and sympathy. It taps into primal fears of vulnerability, leaving us grappling with the unsettling possibility that some crimes may never be solved. Yet this very uncertainty is what keeps the case alive, as each unanswered question fuels further curiosity, drawing more people into the investigation. It is not only a puzzle to be solved, but a window into the darker side of human nature, both the killers and our collective obsession with understanding the unknowable. In many ways, the Villisca Ax House murders symbolize the pursuit of justice in its most relentless form. It is a reminder that no matter how cold a case becomes, there will always be those who refuse to give up, driven by the hope that, one day, the truth will finally emerge from the shadows. Until that day comes, the case will continue to haunt, inspire, and mystify, leaving us with a lingering sense of unfinished business as we wait for the final piece of the puzzle to fall into place. As we conclude our journey into the heart of darkness that is the Villisca Ax House murders, one thing remains abundantly clear. This is a case that will continue to haunt us for generations to come. Share your thoughts in the comments about what you believe happened that fateful night, and don't forget to check out another true crime video. Thanks for watching.